once you enter to go to Pompeii to buy your tickets, you're gonna have to show your vaccination pass or your green pass. So when you get to Pompeii, you get into the entrance, you can buy your actual ticket here at the Pompeii ticket booth, where it's much cheaper than buying it other places. So 2 adult passes is 32 euros. Tour guides to guide you, they're right in front of me, right there. And they'll ask you if you wanted a guided tour. We decided to get the audio guide. It's worth it because it has also a navigation and maps in the audio guide. And here are the prices for it. We just went over the hill to go up to Pompeii from the main entrance. So here's the actual way to get into the different parts of homes here in Pompeii. So each of these open areas or homes of people that lived here in Pompeii. Pompeii is about 2,000 years old, and this is one of the streets here in Pompeii. This is inside Pompeii. So beautiful and remarkable being in here. It's just a beautiful sight being in Pompeii. It was a dream to always come and see this area. And definitely watching the movie Pompeii, you could see how they used to live. So that would be a really good movie to watch before you come here. Just see how people live and how their way of life were depicted on the movie, which is pretty cool. It's as close as you can imagine how they lived here in Pompeii. Or you could use your imaginations how they lived here. Now here's a beautiful view of Mount Vesuvius here in Pompeii. Such a pretty sight. People in Pompeii really had a nice view of the mountains. Look how beautiful that view is in front of us. They had a very thriving civilization here. I mean, look how organized everything is, from their homes to their main courtyards. They're very intelligent people. And you see how they have the streets designed for the water. As you see here, there are numbers. I mean, obviously these numbers weren't here during Pompeii times, but these just show you these are different homes of people that lived in Pompeii. And look how many homes were very close to one another. This was really a busy city here in Pompeii. It's a city like, you know, you would say in Rome, there's so many residents. Here in Pompeii, you just see how busy this place and thriving it was here. Really amazing. Look at that. So imagine here, all the people living in these homes, outside, gathering, and different stores. So cool. As you can see in front of me, there are different types of bricks on each home. So a lot of the people that lived in Pompeii used different types of bricks to build their home, because not all of them is identical to one another.
This is basically the skeleton. You can see the layer of paint. So it looked like it was like a probably orange or red paint. And then there's one over, probably white, that turned yellow with time.
The different colors of paint that faded. So that's how it used to look like, but very faded through time. Now remember, this is 2,000 years old. So in time, you'll see the fading of the colors, which is very cool. So this is somebody's resident that lived here. This is the oldest baths in the city. The baths were built here in 2nd century BC. And this is the main bath here in Pompeii. Pompeii had alleyways that had homes inside them. And these are alleyways that we're going through right now. As you can see, each person's home is quite small in our time. But back then, I'm sure it's very comfortable and enough for the people. One thing I have to say, we're getting along with our strollers here. So if you're coming here with your baby, it's very doable. Not as easy, but it's definitely doable to bring a stroller here when you're touring Pompeii.
Here's the original stones. They all here throughout the streets of Pompeii. Incredible that 2,000 years later, we're still able to walk through the same streets, surrounded by the same buildings, and see alleys and people's houses and places where markets used to be. It's just amazing. This is somebody's 2-story house. This is the original paint. Here's the ancient laundromat that was created from redesigning somebody's house. Ancient red light district.
Here's a
What is
beautiful
that?
art piece in Pompeii. This is where you hire and get prostitutes from. This area right here is actually where they serve and sell hot food and drinks. It's very amazing. This is a snack bar. And look, you can even see actual paintings from those times here in Pompeii. These are actual tiles that were here. These rooms where people eat, kind of like a restaurant in our time. And that is the main entrance to the restaurant.
It's also his house.
And this is the person's house that lived here and business as well. These writings here are election propagandas. Very well civilized, have everything in order here in Pompeii. And that's pretty crazy how well developed the city is. As we walk along Pompeii, we just start noticing how many restaurants they actually had here. I mean, one after another. That just shows you how thriving and busy Pompeii was. And look at this detailed work in the kitchen and the counter. And this is where people would eat here. And it's just so pretty and well preserved here too. But we're entering a home of Casa de Octavius Quartio. This man is more wealthy than the other people here in Pompeii. And he had two shops here. And that's one of his shop, and this is his other shop. And this is his workshop. And this is his kitchen. Very impressive here. I mean, look at these columns of this garden that he had. He's not the average so-you-call Pompeian. I mean, look at this place. Kind of like a little palace. Amazing. And these are actually original paint and pictures on the wall and paintings here in his home. Wow, it's beautiful. So this man even had his own canal system in his home. It just shows how wealthy he was. And it's so beautiful here, how so much of the buildings are intact and not completely ruined. We're about to enter the house of Julia Felix, and this house is as long as a block. So just imagine how big this house is. This is all original, beautiful painting on the wall and colors.
But it still survives.
And how the courtyard is so pretty here. So imagine how beautiful they had it maintained. If you see how well they took care of their property. This person really had a huge property. As you can see here, very, very well preserved after the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Still mostly intact, which is really impressive. Now we just arrived in an amphitheater in Pompeii, and this is where the gladiators would fight. Not as big as the Colosseum, but they kind of had their own little Colosseum here. And everything here is well intact after the volcano erupted. We're about to enter the amphitheater here in Pompeii. How amazing it is we get to enter this amphitheater where the people in Pompeii used to watch their gladiators fight to the death and exercises and train. This is truly an awesome experience being in this city. Look at this beautiful entrance here, hallway type dome to get into the amphitheater. Wow, spectacular. Different levels of seats where the spectators would watch the gladiators fight. Amazing. Directly across from the amphitheater, they had the sports arena, which is here by these doors. So well organized and thriving this city was. Kind of like a modern day city in those times 2,000 years ago. We're about to enter the sports center here in Pompeii. And here in this area is where they have military exercises, training. Here in this courtyard, this is where it would all take place. So it's a big space. These are some of the wall paintings that were just preserved and put in here for display. And look how beautiful the colors and details of the artwork. This is one of the tombs of a family here in Pompeii. So you could see they were probably wealthy to be able to be buried like this. So these are all tombs. This is a graveyard here in Pompeii. We're about to see the people that lived here in Pompeii, their actual real bodies that was covered by the volcano with ashes. And these are actual bodies that's still preserved here in Pompeii.
This is the skeletons covered in plaster of the victims of the volcanic eruption. They are in original poses in their final minutes before their death.
beautiful view of Mount Vesuvius here in Pompeii. Look how far along this street stretches through Pompeii. Such a huge city and very well developed. What a sight to see here in Pompeii. This is our train leaving from Pompeii to Napoli. We just finished our trip from Rome to Pompeii. Pompeii is definitely worth coming to see. It's a really cool sight to see while you're in Rome, and it's not that far at all. Definitely should do it. We had a great time and we loved every minute of it.